hailing frequencies are open.
And Uhura, whose name means freedom. She walks in beauty like the night.
In the late 23rd century, the universal translator would become so powerful that species didn't even have to speak before the entire language was consumed by the computer and translated for Starfleet officers. However, this wasn't always the case. The need for communication officers to operate the delicate equipment, as well as to supplement it if the universal translator failed, was critical to the operations of a Starfleet vessel. They would remain critical in, at a minimum, the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd centuries. One of the most prolific individuals was that of Nyota Uhura. This Amazonian goddess served from the mid-23rd century into the 24th century and had a distinguished career as both a communications officer and ultimately a captain. She would serve on the USS Enterprise as well as the Enterprise A as a communications officer and would be given command of her own ship, the USS Leon de Granse, until her retirement. Born in Kenya, Africa, Uhura originally went to the University of Nairobi to possibly study to become a teacher or a linguist. She dropped out when her parents and brother were killed in a shuttle accident, stating that it was too painful for her to stay. She went to live with her grandmother, who had served in Starfleet, and would ultimately follow in the elder woman's footsteps. She could speak at least 37 languages, which included Andorian, Vulcan, and Swahili. The ability to speak so many languages is quite a feat, as in the real world, a human being can only speak 10. As a cadet, Uhura would serve on the USS Gallant and then in 2259 the USS Enterprise under Captain Christopher Pike. She would distinguish herself as early as her first away mission, which included visiting a comet where she utilized her linguistic ability to decipher the markings and save both the away team and the ship. In 2266, the woman with black girl magic would be within the command division and department head of communications. Though in the end, either by her decision or a change in Starfleet regulations, she would be transferred to operations, which makes sense for communications anyway.
No one is to transport down to the planet unless it is on my order.
Aye, aye, Lieutenant.
What are you doing? Taking command of this ship.
Uhura would often take the lead when necessary, including in 2267 when the shuttlecraft Galileo was lost and she had to operate both science and communications in order to ensure that the away team was rescued. She would take more a command role in order to save those that she cared about. The womanly goddess would be key to the theft of the USS Enterprise, ensuring that Starfleet personnel weren't aware until it was too late for Kirk to get away. She would continue her career, ultimately bringing prestige and honor to the Federation and causing far less pain and death than any male captain in Starfleet. And while I could go on and on about the individual things she did, ultimately the crew of the Enterprise wouldn't be able to survive without her. Her service was distinguished, as was her person. On a side note, I will say that these essays are generally kept within universe, creating many documentaries for those who enjoy the height of contextual criticism. While most of you know her for Star Trek, Roddenberry actually had her in many of his works, and she played multiple roles across a varied line of multiverses. It's really a shame that she wasn't used more, and that even with her addition and breaking gender and racial roles, Star Trek writers, producers, and directors often relegated her to stand behind the men as they did a lot of the work. That's not to diminish who she is or what she did. She did a lot to push for equality. We just need to take her lead and continue doing what she did, pushing to make ourselves better.
Transmission to Starfleet complete, sir.